Hey there, YouTube. This is Ekdog here. Welcome to Ekdog's Corner, where we go over all things gaming. Alright, as you remember, a few weeks ago I posted a video that I had been working on building the city of Minas Tirith from the Lord of the Rings. And I'm going to give you another tour today, a little bit more hands-on and ground level tour, because I've done a lot since the last video you saw. Alright, so again, for those of you who didn't see the last video, I spawned a super flat world in creative mode. I did it in creative instead of survival just because I wanted to use quartz, and I'm already like 500,000 quartz in, and I just don't think I would get that out of survival. So again, for those of you who care, super flat world, one level of bedrock and one level of green grass, and that's it. Every other block you see is a block I built. So now we're going to give you the grand tour. Well, the last one was the grand tour, but this is, in my opinion, the real grand tour. Alright, as you can see, The White City of Minas Tirith by Robert Ekman. For those of you who don't know, that is my name. Now each tier is marked properly, so if you get lost in the city and go to a gate, you know what tier you're on. Alright, so as you remember in the last time you saw a video, this was just the courtyard, nothing there. Alright, today I've worked heavily on finishing all the cobblestone. So all the way around. Now it's just empty cobblestone at this point up to this building. But I laid all the cobblestone. So that part is finished from last time. All these buildings you're seeing are finished, and a lot of the buildings on the other tiers. Some of them were there, some of them weren't. No, I'm not going to show you inside of each building, first of all because almost none of them are complete yet. Eventually, every window you see, every door you see, every building will be accessible to every level via stairs or ladders or elevators. Elevators maybe not so much, but if I choose to, it'll be the traditional way. You know, a tube with water in it and then you float up the water. But here is so far what I have done of tier 1. I'll go back here and show you a little bit of this. This is going to be like a little market, a souk. A bunch of little stalls for people to sell their goods. Now a lot of this is open space because I haven't been... I jump all over the place to keep myself interested. That hole you see in the wall, I'm slowly filling... That wall is hollow. I'm slowly filling it in to be completely solid. And everything from the gate to that door is solid all the way through. I don't know that I'm going to do that to every wall, as you can see, because first of all, I'm using a lot of this space for bunkers, barracks, internal facilities that you may not have seen in the movie or read about in the book, but using my imagination, I have to believe they'd be there, because based on the amount of buildings you see in all the pictures, it's not enough for a good 25,000 people to live in. And I'm going to make the city at least close to 30,000, about 8,000 or 9,000 of those being guards. Though I said I wasn't going to fly, I'm going to show you real quick. I'll do it from another tier. Well, as you can see, I've been slowly building the hill and decorating it. But yeah, alright, here we are entering now tier 2 of the city of Minas Tirith. Just because it's kind of cool, I'm going to go up this one instead first. One of my friends, I've built all this by myself so far, but one of my friends wanted to build a Hobbit Hole, and I'm either going to let him do it here or at the same part of the hill in the next tier up. But he wanted to build a Hobbit Hole because he really likes hobbits and dwarves, so he wants to build a Hobbit-style house. I know that what I just showed you seemed worthless, but it was actually in a picture of the city that I'm using to build the... I'm using quite a few pictures. Before I started the city, between my imagination, plus I went to Google and downloaded at least a good 100 pictures of Minas Tirith, from angles, various buildings, drawings, conceptual art, clay models, and all I did was utilize... There's one I'm using in particular for the vast majority of the city, but I'm utilizing little bits and pieces and implicating pieces that aren't in that main picture I'm using. As you can see, not all these are done yet. Now, every one you see has the floor in it. Now, there's not access to the floor yet, but it will be there. As I said, my goal is with every window you see, even that one way up there, you'll be able to get there somehow. You might have to figure it out, but you will be able to get there. Alright. As you can see, lots of large buildings. This was a lot of work. But I'm very proud of what I got so far. Alright, here's one of the theaters. You know, you got your bleachers, you got your stage. A lot of empty space again here because I jump around. One day I'll spend days just building, you know, walls and cobblestone. And then one day I'll work on some buildings. And then one day I'll work on mountain. You know, since all the cobblestone and walls are now done, I've bounced back and forth between building my mountain, which is an epic work. Because some people would use MC Edit. And don't get me wrong, MC Edit is cool. But I wanted this to be this is my first project. I mean, I've built on Minecraft before, but it was just kind of messing around. This is my first epic creation, and I wanted it to be, I guess, not to sound weird, but a virgin experience. I didn't want to use any texture packs, so I have no texture packs. I didn't want to use any non-linear things. This is all, every brick you see, I built, even the mountain. No MC Edit, no spawned mountain. Just simply unfettered creation. And I'm really happy with that, and that's what I was going for. Alright, we're now entering Tier 3 from Tier 2. All my doors are pretty much the same, for simplicity, and because I couldn't fit the mechanics of the doors I would rather build. I mean, I would rather build, you know, a bigger door. But, I mean, in the end, it's 6 foot wide and close to 12 to 15 foot high, depending on the door. It's a big door. But the wiring for the redstone has to be laid a certain way, and some of the walls don't accommodate for that wiring. I might, in the future, try to find a Mickey Mouse way of doing it. But for now, I'm going to keep it the way it is, because it's simple. And in the end, it's just for people to enjoy. They'll get the idea. My city is already so grandiose that it's not about redstone laying. There will be redstone trapdoors and redstone doors, but it's just about the grandiose adventure of it. I really hope people are impressed with what they see. I hope people enjoy this, and that's what it's all about. In the end, it's just for me to enjoy. But I also want other people who appreciate Minas Tirith to take a look at the city and then appreciate the depth of detail and badassery that I tried to put into this. So we are now halfway through Tier 3. I'm running it simply to show you how massive this city is. I mean, this is not a small project. I've downloaded a lot of the other Minas Tiriths, and they are great. They are just not the size I wanted them to be. I wanted you to be able to... I timed it the other day. It takes almost... I'd say if you do it as fast as you can without any sightseeing, you could get to the top in about 12, 13 minutes from the front gate to the Beacon of Amandine. I'm going to show you, I'm probably going to make this video last about 17 minutes or so, just due to the fact that I do want to show you some of my creation. Really quick, this little bit down here, I believe, is where he said he wanted to build his Hobbit Hole. And that'll be the only thing I don't create, but he hasn't done it yet. It will be inside of that hill. He's going to build himself a little Hobbit Hole. Alright, we're now entering Tier 4. And I'm talking about a buddy of mine from the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps, and I'm here visiting one of my friends, and he also plays Minecraft. Also a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And so, yeah, he's going to do that. I decided to turn this building into the main Minas Tirith library. I will fly through this so it doesn't take up 5 minutes of my video. It's just, level after level after level of winding staircase and library. So that is that. I think that's pretty neat. That'll be my main library. So that'll be the only real library I have. Now there's one in the palace underneath the throne room, and there is one in the main palace guard barracks area. This is one of the examples right here that was not in the picture I'm using on Tier 4, but it was in another picture I saw that I really liked, so I implemented it because it looked really cool. Alright. Now again, all these buildings are undecorated as of now. There are a handful of decorated buildings, only because the library was an epic part of that, and I wanted to get the grand... I just felt at the moment like I wanted to build a grand staircase. I wanted to see how epic that library could become, and I think it's pretty epic. Now, as you can see here, I have most of my main materials in my little block here. I got my pillared quartz blocks, makes up most of my walls, of my city walls, as well as my buildings. The floors inside of the buildings, unless it's the ground floor, which is cobblestone, the second floors and subsequent floors are all usually chiseled quartz block. Now, Tier 7 and a lot of the more, that's my attempt at a trebuchet. But Tier 7 and a lot of the more important buildings are built out of just blocks of quartz, as well as pretty much all of Tier 7. Now, quartz slabs make up a lot of my stuff, especially for roofs and some of the stairs, as well as quartz stairs. So, and then obviously cobblestone makes up most of my ground. Here's Tier 5. And then stone and grass blocks make up all of my mountain. Grass blocks being the rolling hills and stone being the mountain. Alright, now I'm not going to show you that. I'll show you one of my barracks when I get up to Tier 7. Alright, so we're now weaving our way through Tier 5. Now eventually, even though there's a lot of buildings and this seems cramped, there's actually going to be more. There'll be like little food carts, little piles of hay, just little areas that add little hints of subtle, subliminal, ambience. This right here is there's going to be one on every level. For now, there's just one on Tier 5. It's a big bunker where people will go in time of war, like when the orcs attack the city of Minas Tirith in the Return of the King. That's one of the places where a lot of the people in the city would go. And it's on one of the upper tiers, because Tier 6 and 7 are mostly government related, so they'll have their own building. Oh, see that? I have something I gotta fix here. These two things gotta be those blocks. Bam. Alright. Some doors don't have anything, some doors are wooden, and some doors are pressure plate. Metal doors. Alright, we are getting up to near the top. And once I walk you up to the Tower of past the Tower of Slayin and into the Beacon of Amandine, then I will fly and show you the mountain I've been working on. As you can see, it's starting to look pretty epic. But here we are entering Tier 6. This is my favorite tier, simply because it's enclosed now, and so when the orcs and Urukai and various other creatures would come up through here, they would now, since you're entering the government sector, you would have several. This is the last place. This is the most secure, because it's the last place civilians are allowed before now, is up there. So anyone that tries to pass through there, because now you're unrestricted. You'll probably be escorted by guards, but at this point you are now in the government sector, and only various few people should be up here. I'm just showing you the other side of Tier 6 to give you that's a big barracks area, and I'll show you that barracks later. Alright, so here is a double doorway on each side that lead to the stairways to Tier 7. There is my phallus, the part that Denethor runs while on fire and then jumps off the tip, as well as the coronation of Aragorn happens up here. But I think I did a very good job, all things considered. Actually, what's funny is the first thing I started with was the front gate. When I built it, I started with the front gate, which you can't even see from up here. And the very next thing I built was the courtyard, and then I built the outline of this phallus, because the city is based around those premises. And I know that the city wasn't built that way, but to get it accurate, since I didn't build it over thousands of years like they did, I had to do it that way. Alright, so here, we're going back to on foot. Here's the tree, the white tree. There's the Tower of Slayin. Now the very tip of that tower is the top of the map. I can't build even one more block up. Fountain. For those of you who didn't see my last video, this is my throne room. I've made some additions to it. Down below it is my palace library, which, yeah, it does look way extravagant, but this is a palace library. I used a wall and ceiling pattern. The floor pattern, I doubled it down here and just used different materials. I added nice chandeliers, lots of oak wood, obsidian, emerald. I have portals down here, a nice fireplace on that end. All in all, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I like libraries, so though it is ridiculous, Up top, for those of you who didn't see the last video as well, my main palace dining room for banquet hall. You know, it's for banquets. I'm really happy with my chandelier system. It's accessible for guards to be walking up top, or guests, you know, to smoke or whatever they want to do. All 10 guard towers are accessible to every level. Alright, sorry about that. Lagged a little bit. I'm running, just so everyone knows, if anyone's curious, I'm running an Asus G75 VW from 2012. So it's little, not, you know, just a little over a year old. Well, actually not quite a year old. You know, a little over a year old. But yeah, an Asus G75 VW, if you want to look up the specs on that. It's a good computer, but even mine, especially while running fraps, hiccups once in a while. But that's one thing. A lot of people lately, since the new Xbox One was announced, people have been talking about how Minecraft will be on. And there was this article on IGN today about how they really, you know, reached 22 million players. And a lot of people were complaining that the graphics are crap. Well, I don't think at all that the graphics are crap. In fact, I beg to differ, the exact opposite. I believe this game looks epic, especially on a computer like mine. Now, the Xbox version, I've played it and I own it, and it doesn't look as good in my opinion, but this game was never meant to look great, but I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that this game doesn't look great. I believe that this game looks pretty epic. I should have flown up to the top, and I apologize, because all this is a ass-long stairway to the Beacon of Amadine. But I didn't show it in my last video, I don't believe, so I wanted people to see the grandiose fact that I'm not going to expect my soldiers to climb the mountain if I were Denethor, though he is kind of an ass. He was corrupted by the Palantir, so it's not all his fault, but I wouldn't make my soldiers, having been in the Marine Corps, you mean, yeah, the Marines are extreme, but I don't think they'd make you climb the mountain every day, because that just would be dangerous. So here's the guardhouse for the Beacon of Amadine, and then the Beacon of Amadine itself. A lot of people also, that I noticed in their other Minas Tirith, a lot of people put it in the wrong location. It is located directly above and behind the White Tower of Ictalion. So now that we're up to the top, I'm going to fly and show you the mountain I've been building. For scale, and just for, alright, the left side is barely done. All I did, as you can see, is drag the mountain down along each tier so that I could see where I need to be and see how I want my mountain to roll. Now the right side, however, is almost completely finished. I worked hard on this today. Now, really quickly, I'm going to dig through my mountain because it doesn't go very far. I want people to see that I did not use MC Edit. This is completely hollow, and I made the back of it completely flat and flush. But it is completely hollowed out, simply because I built it one piece at a time. And yes, it didn't cost me a dime. Alright, so, because on the other side of this, since this is my main world, this isn't just going to be Minas Tirith. On the back side near the floor, I'm going to build more mountain and make Helm's Deep. But yeah, this is, I built this completely one block at a time. This is almost, I'd say close to 200,000 clicks. I really hope everyone's impressed with the way I built this mountain. Now, it's not all just going to be stone like this, though it could be and not look bad. I'm going to go in and lace in other types of stone, like coal and diamond ore, tin ore. I'm going to lace in other things. Now, this goes all the way to the ground. I did this today. Not all of this, obviously, but I made it to the ground today. And now, as you can see, this is still hollow. This is where I stopped about an hour ago. Now, the last time you saw my video, my green hills were not decorated. I decided that I wanted it to look unkempt, because a hill would be unkempt. It would not be, people wouldn't be going out there and trimming it and mowing it. Plus, it deters, it looks pretty, plus it deters enemies, because it's really overgrown with weeds and nastiness. So there's a lot of flowers, weeds, trees, you know, and anyone in Minecraft knows how I did that. I used bone meal. So these, luckily, I didn't have to go and individually place, because that would be terrible. But, I mean, more or less, I mean, I had to use a lot of bone meal. For almost every flower you see, I had to use a bone meal. And the flowers just came up naturally. That's all I used. I didn't plant any. The only things I planted were the trees. Now this tower leads into that guard shack right here. So there's There's a tunnel that goes down there. I'm not going to show you because I'm trying to save time. One thing I do want to show you, though, this is one of many of my guard facilities. My guard barracks are very well thought out. They're very well prepared. They have winding staircases that lead to them. Like everyone here is a bathroom. All my sinks for guys to shave, to wash their hands. Toilets, though they seem modern, I mean, I don't know how else to do this. I mean, toilet seat, sinks. Now, I haven't put bathhouses on this one yet. Everyone will have a little its own bathhouse. And then each room, depending on the size of it, holds, some of them only hold 6 guys, some hold 8, some hold 12. It depends. This is one squad of guys would live in here. He's got the ladder to the second bunk. You know, the squad leaders have their own chest, and everyone else just has to utilize something else. Now, I did try really hard to get this accurate. I tried. I mean, I pride myself on my attention to detail. So, I mean, and that was just all that was floor after floor after floor of those guard shacks. Alright, I think one of my best masterpieces in terms of guard shacks are these ones up here. Now, the upper level, those there, that one on the left and right, those are going to be the houses of healing, for those of you who are fans and know what that are. Or, sorry, what that is. For those of you who know what the houses of healing are, that's what these 2 buildings are going to be. Now, below it are guard shacks. These are for more of the tower guards, the more elite of the guards. Alright, now, one thing I want to show you. If I ever make it there. Oh, that just happened. Alright. I think it's funny how even though this is my city, I still get lost in it. Like, I get lost in my own city. That's just because how large it is. And I probably built this facility weeks ago. I can't even tell you how many hundreds of hours are put into this. Alright, here's one of my guard shack libraries. I take good care of my guards. This is one of their recreational areas, you know. Not a big library, not a fancy library, but a library nonetheless for them to, you know, do whatever in. Right here's a dining hall. Every one of my guard facilities has its own dining hall, and in most cases has its own adjacent cooking area. Furnaces, kitchen. Down here is a wine cellar and a storage facility, and I'm really personally proud of this. It's my walk-in ice chest. It's just, you know, it's simple. You know, I really, when people visit my city and they download it, because I'm going to make this available for download, I want people to be, you know, impressed with the level of detail. I don't just want people to be like, wow. Like, here's one of my bars. This is one of my pubs. You know, so it's got the bar taps and, you know, various drinks and dispensers and chests, stools. I used anvils, but I had to improvise. This is a bathroom, again, you know. This is a pool room. Now, the pool table looks enormous. I mean, that's 12 foot by like 21 foot. I wanted to just get across the point that that's a pool table. But this has been a more in-depth look at my city of Minas Tirith. Now, this is more like, you know, these are palace guards, but this is more like a squad-based setting. For anyone who's in the military, you know what squad bases are like. They're not the greatest thing on earth, but hey, thankfully you have a good bed, because in Iraq I didn't always have a bed. Though I felt thankful to have a cot or even a patch of dirt with my isomat, I still like having a bed. Alright, but this is my city of Minas Tirith. Please look me up on IGN. Look for Slayin Bodies, Slayin space BODIES. That's also my Xbox Live gamer tag. Mithrandir 1296. That's MITHRANDIR 1296. Any of you who'd like to drop me an email, it's mithrandir1296 at yahoo.com. Look me up on IGN, look me up on YouTube, look me up on Facebook. Name's Robert Ekman. I'd appreciate any feedback you leave on my epic creation of Minas Tirith. I'm really proud of what I got so far. I'm hundreds and hundreds of hours in. I have hundreds and hundreds of hours to go. And it will be a work in progress probably for the next year or so. This game will eventually be made available for download for use in Hunger Games or whatever you want, just to explore. I hope you've been impressed with what you saw, and I hope to hear from you, hear your ideas, hear your thoughts. Once again, YouTube, you have spent the last 15 minutes or so with Ekdog here at Ekdog's Corner, where we go over all things gaming. Alright. Peace, YouTube.